This podcast contains adult language and crude humor. Listener discretion is advised.
Alright, so I had a little thought-a-rooney the other day. So part of why Shadowlands wasn't as well received as it could have been was because people hated story elements, specifically like what Sylvanas had turned into. And it wasn't what they'd known her to be, right? So she'd been the champion of the Forsaken, bringing them out of the darkness, and then she turned into whatever that was. So I kind of found myself wondering, would the storyline of Shadowlands have been better if it had turned out that the Sylvanas we saw throughout all of that and even in BFA had been a Dreadlord? And then the final raid could have been like a rescue mission, like we rescue her, we kill the jailer who, in this scenario, wouldn't have sucked. You know what? Probably not, but let's just be glad the expansion's done.
Thrall's balls! They're everywhere!
Thrall's Balls, the World of Warcraft podcast with a dirty mind and a clean behind. Hosted by Bentolis, Gershom, and Wooly. Oh, what's up, swingaz? From the tbhq in the grizzly lands of Wisconsin, welcome to Thrall's Balls, episode 109. I'm Wooly, the crashing chaotic destruction warlock, and, well, for the first time in well over 100 episodes, I am carrying the show alone today. Bent had some work emergency he had to deal with, and Gershom had a family emergency to deal with. Don't worry, everybody's safe, everybody's fine. It's just someone got sick. Not like, whatevs. Anyway, so I'm not gonna not put out an episode, you know? So I don't know how long it's gonna be, because I can't exactly do trivia all by myself, so we'll see. We'll see. So, yeah, we're going to see them again next week. So, Bent was originally going to have the drink and the trivia this week, so I took him over at the last second. So then later in the episode, we're going to find out what is in a Vyranoth drink. Yeah, which I'm suddenly realizing I'm going to have to pause recording to grab the elements of, because I didn't put it together. Oopsies. Anyway, so, y'all want to hear a joke? Alright, so, did you know Gamon's penis used to be in the Orgrimmar Book of World Records? Yeah. Well, it was, but then the librarian told Gamon to put the book back on the shelf and leave before she called the guards. So, why was the soup afraid of Big Kinook? Because he boiled the broth and beat the meat. That one came to you from Gershom. So yeah, I'm going to be making that a thing, telling dirty WoW jokes. Kind of forgot to do that last week. Oh well. So, what have I been up to in WoW this week? Mostly outside of the game thinking about where I want to go with my characters in the future. God, I feel like it has been a recurring theme with me from episode 1 of what character am I gonna play next, or who am I gonna be? Thing is, if I could play an orc druid, I would just switch right now, just be done with it. So I might explore my druid. I've been saying that a few weeks, I suppose. In the meantime, I've been kind of dicking around on my warlock. I have a couple more dungeons to do for the weekly to round that out, get a piece of Aberrus gear, because I have not gone into Aberrus on this character at all. We'll see what happens. But beyond that, just, I feel like there isn't a lot to do other than Dream Surges, so I've been doing that a little bit too. Kind of getting sick of my Netherwing Drake mount. I hate to say it. So those 10.2 customizations that are coming for the Netherwing Drakes, I might turn him green, see what's going on. Maybe, I haven't done the Dawn of the Infinite dungeon yet, so I'll probably hop on in there, see if I can get a lucky drop. I don't know if the Infinite customization shit drops in Heroic or not. I'll have to find out. Anyway, so that's basically all I have been up to. Moving on into WoW news pretty quickly here.
Time for WoW news, motherfuckers.
So, biggest bit of news is Chris Metzen. He's been back-ish for a little bit now, but it was just announced that he is taking on a full-time executive creative director role of the Warcraft universe. So that's not just WoW. That's Arclight Rumble, or I see they call it Warcraft Rumble. I don't know where the hell they're going with it. That's, the game I don't play. Hearthstone, you know, all that. So they announced this on their social medias with a image that says citizens of Azeroth. No, that's just me being silly. We are excited to share that Chris Metzen has taken on a full-time role as executive creative director of the Warcraft universe. Right now, his main focus is supporting our World of Warcraft leadership in creating the next generation of adventures. Chris was instrumental in developing the foundations of the Warcraft universe, and we are thrilled for him to rejoin our teams in shaping what's to come. At BlizzCon, he and the team will be sharing what we've been working on. We hope to see you there. I feel like the language they've picked is very careful. Like, cool, Chris Metzen's back, but I'm looking at the words in crafting the next generation of adventures, or sharing what we've been working on. They haven't said a damn thing, and I'm going to come back to this later, about it actually being an expansion. So I don't know. I'm sure there will be. I'm probably tinfoil hatting a little too hard, especially for something I'll get at in a little bit here. But welcome back to the helm, Chris Metzen, though you already were doing stuff. Incidentally, this was announced on my birthday just the other day. I turned 34. Yep. So, moving on now. And they mentioned BlizzCon. So, I'm going to go ahead and say the BlizzCon. What the fuck would that be? BlizzCon floor plan has been announced. So, in Hall A, wait, this is so small to look at. Yeah, in Hall A, we have all the Diablo stuff. They've got Diablo Cathedral Art Experience, don't know what that is. Fat Goose Inn, don't know what that is. Hell's Ink Tattoos. I feel like that's... I don't know what any of this is for Diablo. I don't play it. But then there's the Horadric Library, Tree of Whispers, Wings of Inarius. I don't know what that is. I don't care. Hall B is Overwatch World Cup. They've got the World Cup competition and the World Cup Proving Grounds. Had to cough. Hall C is Overwatch 2, so they've got an Overwatch Ops Center, Overwatch Demo, which probably means we're getting some pretty good Overwatch announcements. The Overwatch Lounge, don't know what that is, and the HTC Overwatch Experience, also don't know what that is. But then Hall D, this is what I care about. So in the World of Warcraft section, this is like broken into 4 spots. So there's the WoW Corridor of Time. Maybe that's just a retrospective of where we've been at in WoW so far. The WoW Demo, which will be demo of upcoming content, which I'm going to get to that in a minute too, because I'm a little confused about the way things are worded. They have the WoW Guild Clash. I saw what that is, but I didn't read it, so I'm not sure. I don't know. Something esportsy, I think. And the Guildhall Theater. The fuck is that? So you'd think doing this show for like 109 episodes, I would know enough to research this ahead of time, but I didn't. Yeah. But then off to the left, based on a top-down view, they've got Dark Moon Fair set up. Pretty cool. Next to that, they have Warcraft Rumble. There is a mini machine photo op. Mini machine, I think that's the little minis that they use to play the game. And Rumble Mania, don't know what they mean by that. And a Warcraft Rumble demo. So we're going to get to play it. And I'm excited because I'm actually going to be at BlizzCon for the first time ever. and maybe even only time ever, because I have that baby coming. You know, I can't really be jetting off to BlizzCon when I have a little baby. The next to that is Hearthstone. There is the Artist Nook, Duel a Dev. Duel a Dev. That's what it sounds like. Why you fucking asking? Chill out. Demo of upcoming Hearthstone stuff, the Tavern Theater, and the Warcraft Tavern. Yeah. Then, of course, in the BlizzCon arena, there's community night, opening ceremony, panel discussions. There's something called the Inclusion Nexus. Don't know what that is. And you register in the North Hall on the upper, and the BlizzCon store is in the lower. And then there's like food trucks and shit in the Grand Plaza. Yeah, so that's that. But we also have the 1-2 punch. They gave us a bit of a teaser image of what we can expect. Obviously, there's the opening ceremony. There is that community night and all that, where they do, like, I don't know, cosplay competitions and stuff. But what I want to point out on this, as far as our thing is concerned here, play upcoming content for Dragonflight and Classic. So I'm curious what the Classic stuff is going to be, if it's going to be Cataclysm, or if they're going to do what some people really want, if they're going to do like a direct, maybe not a sequel, but expansion to Classic as it stands, like that's got nothing to do with BC or anything like that. I don't know. But what I'm looking at here is play upcoming content for Dragonflight. So does that mean we're not going to get to play upcoming content for the what we all expect to be an 11.0 announcement? Because that might be a little disappointing. Or maybe it is, but they don't want to word it that way to spoil shit. I don't know. But then on this teaser, we also get a little bit of a tiny look at what kind of goodies we'll get from going to BlizzCon. So they're giving us a backpack. It says, buff your inventory, leave with a free BlizzCon backpack. But unlike the one they did a few years ago, this doesn't have like a big old Velcro space to put a bunch of badges and stuff. So it looks more functional, which is fine with me because I've been using the same backpack since like 8th grade, and it's finally showing its age. Lasted a long fucking time. And then I can put, you know, all my treasures in here. And as far as in-game, BlizzCon, according to the Wowhead article, this is how they wrote it, BlizzCon also traditionally awards attendees with in-game goodies for its major purchases, for its major games, from pets to mounts or even cosmetic gear, and this year appears to be no exception, with a new World of Warcraft mount prominently displayed. So in the bottom right of this teaser page, it says more to be revealed. It appears to be an elemental mount of some sort. It sort of looks like it's got the similar model to like the KSM mounts from shitty Shadowlands, which I'd be all right with that, which is also kind of the same model mount as the Shaman mount, or even the mount that you get from Jaina in BFA. So that'll be neat. We can see what that's going to be all about. And then speaking of mounts, we have a new trading post, and I recommend you look at it because there's some things that I just straight up got. Like there's tabards that look like chainmail. I bought both of them. One's lighter, one's darker. But the only thing I really want to point out, and this is cool because it's October and we have the Hollow's End coming up, the monthly reward for completing the log is what they're calling Eve's Ghastly Rider. I don't know who the hell Eve is, and I don't really care. Unless we're talking about Eva, the Twitch streamer. She's cool. But it's a fucking flying broom, yo. It's got like a green glowing lantern hanging from the front, and this like soft looking saddle thing so you're not having a broom go up your butthole. And the broomy part looks like it's shooting off some kind of green glowing sparks. So yeah, I'm gonna grind this one out. I didn't grind out last month's whatever thingy. So yeah, we're gonna see. We're gonna see. So up next, no spoilers in what I'm saying, in the very slightest, nothing at all. I am going to point to where you can find said spoilers. All right. So there were some achievements data mined that might indicate certain details about what we can expect from WoW 11.0. Again, no spoilers, but check out the Wowhead URL in the show notes if you're interested. And I'm not linking it, but they also made an article speculating what that could be. And as much as I want to say a whole lot more, I'm not going to. Not going to. Yeah. So then one last thing I want to touch on here. There was something found on the 3.4.3 Wrath of the Lich King Classic PTR. It is a mount called the Nightmarish Emerald Drake, and it has no known source, but it's cool looking. So it's basically like if you took an Emerald Drake and swished it around in a barrel of Emerald Nightmare juice and then pulled it out, and it's got like nightmare stinky clouds coming off of it. It's kind of like that. It looks pretty cool. And to my knowledge, this is the second Wrath Emerald Drake they've made specifically for Wrath Classic. Previously, there was like this rotted looking one, and then now there's this. I think it's cool. A lot of people probably disagree with me, but I think it's really cool that they are putting some stuff into these classic versions of the games that weren't there before. And, you know, I'm totally on board with that because I've been there. I played Wrath at the time. I don't really feel the need to play Wrath Classic, but for those who do, like, if you're playing it because you missed it, cool, you get this extra stuff anyway. If you're playing it because you were there and you want to experience it again, it's gonna be nice to have little nuggets of, oh, this is new. Like an ooh shiny nugget, just like plopped right into the poop. I'm not calling Wrath Classic poop, that's a terrible analogy. But whatever, I think it's cool. So that's going to be it for the WoW news. Let's move on to our Teabag Time.
I am restless.
Teabag Time.
So this is Teabag Time. This is where we read out listener or sometimes even NPC feedback if I feel especially creative on the air. And in so doing, it's said that we have teabagged you with Thrall's meaty balls. We actually have two things to read today. So, and they're both real. I didn't make up any of these, like for NPC stuff like I do. So, Mac Die on Discord says, keep up the great work on the podcast. I love your style and listen to you guys every week while driving my mail route. I'm working on the back episodes now as well. Have confidence because you're nailing it every week. And dude, I said this on Discord, but thank you so much. Thank you so much. That is so insane to hear that somebody likes what we're doing enough that you're listening to the back episodes. And Gershon pointed out to you, buddy, the back episodes, some of them can get kind of rough. Not gonna lie. We recorded exactly one episode where all of us were live on it because we were in the same place. You might not be able to finish that one because the sound quality is just horrible. But thank you, dude. Thank you. We're happy to have you here. And so I'm going to point out he said that on Discord, so you can go ahead and join Discord if you have a mind to. Go to thrallsballs.com. It no longer yeets you right into the server. We have a proper website now. However, it's a very simple website on purpose. If you look for the button that says Get Teabagged, it'll allow you to give feedback. If you look for the button that says Join Discord, it'll allow you to join Discord. So then, speaking of Get Teabagged, we have another bit of feedback that came to us from our brand new website. This comes from Drastio on Skull Rock, and he included hardcore bitches. Drastio, if you're out there and you hear this, I want to know what level you've gotten to. Like, what's your highest level? If you've had any die, anything, I'm curious. But Drastio says, welcome to the daddy list, you poor fuck. Haha, nah, you're gonna be all right. Good luck. Thanks, bro. Thanks. I'm really excited to have a kid coming. We might know in the next week or two if we're having a boy or a girl, so we're very excited about that. We had another ultrasound the other day, and all the preliminary assessments from that, while it's not foolproof, have indicated that everything is healthy with the baby, so we're very excited. All right, so thanks to both of those. I don't think we've ever had multiple bits of feedback to read on the show in one episode before, unless you count when Bonus Roll was giving Dragonflight giveaways for that people were just kind of finding episodes to leave stuff on. But again, go to thrallsballs.com if you don't want to go through all the rigmarole of like leaving a review on iTunes or emailing or whatever. And just look for Get Teabagged. You can anonymously send us stuff. Gonna move on to Mixed Drink of the Week, and at this point, I'm gonna pause the recording, and I'll be back with you guys in a fucking minute.
It's time for the Mixed Drink of the Week. Fuck yeah! Fuck
It's the Mixed Drink of the Week, y'all, and before I get into it, I want to remind everybody to please only partake of the Mixed Drink of the Week, or any alcohol for that matter, if you're of legal age or legal whatever to do so. Furthermore, we're not responsible for any stupid shit that may befall you as a result of your own stupid shit decisions. Yeah, so we've been going through various draconic leaders within the world of Warcraft, and Bent was going to have Alexstrasza this week, but then all that stuff happened, so he's going to be back next week with Alexstrasza. Alexstrasza. Okay, whatevs. So, I thought in a pinch, I'll step in. I will make what is clearly Alexstrasza's friend and never was anything more, and they definitely were not bumping cloacae. It's Vyranoth. I said that wrong. Vyranoth. When you think about it, she is no less of a dragon than Alexstrasza is. She's just shaped differently. And she is a leader. She's one of the 4 fucking primalists, though rest in peace, Razageth, you crazy bitch. So, what might be in a Vyranoth drink, you might ask? Well, it is 1-shot chilled vodka, in this case, Svedka. Yeah, put it in the freezer specifically for this. And you mix that with white Gatorade. Now, I kind of gotta do a wee woo and call myself a cop, because it turns out there's multiple kinds of white Gatorade, so I want to point out I used Gatorade Frost Thirst Quencher Glacier Cherry. So you pour those into a round flask, drop in 2, what was the name? Whatever, it was Altoids Arctic Peppermint. I'm trying to go for as cold as I can, because, you know, Vyranoth, she's an icy bitch. Actually, in a weird way, she is the warmest of the primalists. Yet she's the iciest. I love Vyranoth for that exact reason. So you drop those Altoids in, you put the drink in there, and then y'all already know my drinks always include some form of the green. And this week is no different. I have blown my vape into there, and I forgot to point out this is all into a round flask. This one is 500 milliliters made of borosilicate. And I did that specifically because the roundness will trap the vape smoke, whatever, the vapor in there. The effect I was going for is kind of like the cold vapor rolling along ice, and that's kind of exactly what I got. So you blow that in there, and then you drink it. So let's, over the lips, through the gums, look out, asshole. Yeah, that is not the least bit bad. It's actually pretty good. I'm gonna not finish it because I need to drive sometime after the tiny little bit of vape I took wears off. So I'm gonna just leave this, but it's good. I recommend it. So then next week, Bentolis is gonna be back, and he'll be bringing Ali Alexstrasza to the forefront here. So yeah, I'm not going to include a bumper for this because there's no point, but I am putting out there a question of the week. Psych, I'm totally doing a bumper.
Question, above, the week.
So, question of the week for next week that we're going to get some answers to, and I already asked this in Discord, and I got a few answers, so we're going to be answering this next week. What do you think of Chris Metzen returning to be the full-time creative director over the Warcraft universe? Now, we did have some discussion there, like, wasn't he already back? Yes, he was back sort of part-time in like an advisory role. Now, as I said earlier in the show, is full-ass creative director. Sup, y'all? Here I am editing. Not sure if I actually said how to get your answers to us for this. So, you can feel free to drop them in Discord. Go to thrallsballs.com. There's a button to get you into Discord. Email us, thrallsballspodcast@gmail.com. Even put it in the Spotify Q&A. I'm probably not going to change the name of the Q&A the Q&A question. What the fuck ever. You know what I'm saying. Basically, any way you can get it to us, you can do that. Social media works too, at thrallsballspod. And you know what? I actually am going to throw in the trivia here, because it makes sense. So, had Vyranoth as the mixed drink, and it makes sense for the trivia to continue to be included because the trivia theme is proto-drakes. Obviously, I can't keep score, so you're going to have to keep score yourself to find out if you at home are the eater of ass or if you're head of the class. So, inserting that bumper here. Head of the class and eater of ass. Anyway.
What is this?
Yeah, so let's get into it. Now, to give you a rubric, to consider yourself head of the class, you need to answer 7 out of 10 of the questions I'm going to ask correctly. If you do not beat that, if you do not get 70% or better, so 7 out of 10 questions, I win. Then I'm head of the class. However, if you lie to me, I'm never going to know. So how this will work, because I'm running alone today, I'm going to ask you the question. If you don't immediately know what it is, and you're able to, please don't do this if you're driving. You can just pause it and say your answer and then see if you're right when I reveal. So, question 1. How do you get the violet proto-drake? To get the violet proto-drake, you need to complete a meta achievement based on the holidays. So the achievement is called What a Long Strange Trip It's Been. And I don't remember exactly which holidays you have to get the achievements for, but it's some of them are like Midsummer or Children's Week, the Elder thingy, what is it called? Lunar Lights Festival, I don't remember. But basically all the major ones. All right, so I'm gonna try to squeeze in 5 seconds for each thing here. So, question 2. In what zone do you find the time-lost proto-drake? Okay, so the time-lost proto-drake, and I'm sure some of you got it immediately because if you're like me, you've been trying to get that thing for a good 10 years now. You can find the time-lost proto-drake in Storm Peaks. So it's a rare that is very rare to find. You get it, you kill it, it's a guaranteed drop. Question 3. Who drops the blue proto-drake? I should clarify, who drops the reins of the blue proto-drake? That would be Scotty. I think his full name is Scotty the Ruthless. He's in Utgard. I can never remember if it's Peak or Pinnacle, but he's in one of those. Question 4. How do you get the red proto-drake? You get the red proto-drake by completing the Glory of the Hero. That is centered around Wrath of the Lich King dungeons. And to my knowledge, I think you can still get that. Question 5. What achievement does the Ironbound proto-drake come from? The Ironbound proto-drake comes from the Glory of the Ulduar Raider achievement. And if I remember right, I think there's a rusted proto-drake that is the heroic version or the 25. I don't remember. I didn't look up that part. But if you're curious, you can look it up yourself, because I'm not going to. Question 6. When did the Frostbrood proto-worm enter the game? The Frostbrood proto-worm came into the game when Wrath Classic launched. Yeah. So then that leads me into question 7. How was one able to get the Frostbrood proto-worm? Easily enough. It was very easy. All you had to do was complete the Death Knight starting zone in Wrath Classic before Dragonflight launched. That part's very important, although if you didn't say that, obviously you can't get it now, so give yourself the point anyway. So, question 8. Once upon a time, there was only one mount that could fly at 310% flying speed. What mount was that? That mount, harking back to question 1, that's the Violet Proto-Drake. So, once upon a time, only the Violet Proto-Drake could go 310% speed. And I remember being pissed off because I couldn't keep up with my friend Jaden, she went by Jaden, I don't know why I said Jaden. Because she had the Violet Drake, I did not. She was also a Paladin who threw, I forgot what the aura was, Crusader aura? I don't remember, it's changed so much. So she was even going faster than 310% speed, and I couldn't keep up, and I was pissed. That's an IRL friend, actually. One of the people who got me into the game. Okay, question 9. How do you get the Bloodthirsty War Worm? Sort of a trick question, but not really. You can only get this by being a warrior. That is the warrior class mount. It is a proto-drake. It's pretty dope. Just saying. Just saying. That mount was one of the biggest reasons I played a warrior for a while. So, I didn't play very well as a warrior. So, don't base what class you play on what mount you want, I guess. I don't know. Or if you do, get good. I didn't get good. Question 10. And this is the last question. Without checking, what is the actual name of the dragon riding proto-drake mount? The renewed proto-drake. Okay, so that's all 10 questions. Add up what you got right versus what you got wrong. If you got more than 3 wrong, that means you didn't get 7 or more better. So, sorry, you're eating ass. But if you did, you're head of the class, and I'm eating ass. But I don't know. I don't know unless you tell me. Right? So if you want to, you can throw that in the Spotify Q&A thing, because I never really changed the question in there. It'll just say, what did you think of this episode? Or even go to thrallsballs.com, send it in our form that we have on there. Click on Get Teabagged, And I'll say next week which one of you claimed to have won head of the class trivia. Now, I don't have any way to verify it, so we're going honor system here. So, I don't know. Don't you fucking lie to me, bitch. Don't you lie to me. Okay, so final thoughts for this episode. My final thought is it's a short episode. Kind of thought it would be, flying all solo polo like I am here. Thanks for hanging in with me on the solo episode, the solo-episode, or solo polo, whatever. I don't fucking know. It's my final thought. Next week, we're going to be back in full force. All three of us will be here. Bent will bring us Alex Straza and whatever trivia he's going to do. Actually, what did he... Oh, he didn't give me a theme. Anyway, gonna go ahead and get on out of here. Go ahead and follow us. I am at Wooly08, 2 O's, 2 L's, and a Y on Twitter, Instagram, and if you have it, Blue Sky. Gershom is at Hunter Gershom, Gershom on Twitter, and at Hunter Gershom, Gerrshom on Instagram. I think she got on Blue Sky as well. I remember her saying that. I don't remember what she used for her handle on there, and I was having trouble finding her myself. So you put a pin in that. Bent is at Bentolis_outlaw on Twitter, Bentolas. And then, of course, the show is at Thrall's Balls Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. As soon as I can make a Blue Sky for the show, I'm going to. Go ahead and visit thrallsballs.com. You can leave feedback by clicking on Get Teabagged. You can join Discord by clicking Join Discord, or even find some of our socials on there. Feel free to email us, thrallsballspodcast@gmail.com. Otherwise, bye. We love you. Be good.